local play station. 22 to 9. It's Graham Mack and Claire Ashford this morning. And as you've heard, the Prime Minister has promised to hold a referendum if the Conservatives win the next election, asking if we should stay in Europe or not. Stuart Parr is a UKIP member in Telford. Good morning, Mr. Parr.
Morning.
Where does this leave you? Because to get the referendum, which I'm sure you want, you'd have to vote Conservative so that they get back in.
Well, we want a referendum. The subject of the referendum isn't what we want, and I don't think it's what the majority of people want.
What is it you want?
We want a straight in-and-out referendum. David Cameron says that he wants to renegotiate our membership. He talks about the Lisbon Treaty and that we need to...
I think he's talked about negotiating that as well as a referendum, on the way to the referendum, not as part of the referendum.
Correct, but under the Lisbon Treaty, which is the most recent legal basis for our membership of the EU, the only way that you can renegotiate your membership of the EU is by invoking Article 50, which is notification to leave, which is the only renegotiation of your membership. There is no legal basis.
But everything's always up for negotiation, regardless of, things change, things can be amended.
But it would require a new treaty because the EU's treaty-based. It would require a new treaty, and that requires the unanimous agreement of every member state. And the EU's not going to agree to any real transfer of power back to member states, particularly not to us.
Are you worried the Conservatives are getting pretty hot on this and it could take votes off you?
Not really. I think it's good that it's getting on the agenda, and I think it's good that we're forcing our hands. David Cameron's not going to win the next election.
Oh, Labour's going to win, are they?
Labour will probably win. It's pretty certain that Labour will win the next election.
But that's bad news for you, because that means the country will go more towards the left, and you're to the right of the Conservatives.
Well, that's a misconception. There's lots and lots of left-wingers in UKIP, and in fact, towards the last 2 months of 2012, it was something like 3 in 10 new members were former members of the Labour Party. So,
well, they won't get any referendum on Europe under Labour.
We won't get a realistic referendum under the Conservatives, and the Conservatives aren't going to win the next election. I mean,
so you'd rather Conservatives the Labour got in rather than the Conservatives, would you, Stuart?
No preference for either, and I think the majority of UKIP members, serious UKIP members, and not floating voters or protest voters would agree. To us, there is no difference between the Conservatives and Labour. They're both pro-EU parties. Neither of them will actually deliver what we want, which is a proper in or out referendum on EU membership.
Is there anything David Cameron can say in his speech today that will keep UKIP happy?
A referendum before the next election. I mean, why? If he's so certain that he's going to get the result that he wants, that he'll be able to renegotiate powers, that the majority of people want to stay in the EU, and that he's going to be able to deliver this, why not do it now?
Because he's a politician and
he wants to win the next election. It's just about pacifying Eurosceptics.
Oh, you cynic, you.
Stuart Parr, UKIP
there is one important point. In 2017, under one of the treaties, Fiscal Compact, says that the principle of fiscal union, which includes a single currency, will be entered into EU law in 2017. Now, there's a very good possibility that means that the single currency would become a legal requirement under EU law in 2017 if we don't have a referendum until 2018. Does that mean that we've got to actually start down the path of fiscal union, starting the process of adopting a single currency?
No,
and that's assuming. But you're saying that like it's a bad thing. Which I'm sure Stuart Parr, sadly, we're out of time. Thank you very much for your time this morning.